All right, now back to our weather here in Central Texas.
Yeah, Matt, we've been watching this, grow over the last couple of days. We thought it was just going to be a little bit of rain, but now you have some not so great news.
Yeah, I still don't think it's going to be a widespread severe weather outbreak, but there is something that we're going to have to watch out for, and it's just so interesting when you think about the fact that we're talking about the weather on the other side of the world. We're talking about winter. Here in Texas, we're talking about spring, unfortunately. Saturday morning through evening, that's your time frame. Again, it's not going to rain all day, but there are going to be waves here that we have to deal with. Some of those storms potentially bringing us some gusty winds, some pocket change hail, and as these storms get into the Brazos Valley, and I'm going to show you this in just a second, that's where we could be talking about that possibility of a spin-up tornado with all this as well. Again, I'm not expecting a whole lot here. A couple of storms, either way. Not everybody's going to see that severe weather, so keep that in mind. But you do need to make sure you're staying alert throughout the day tomorrow. I know a lot of people have plans. Make sure you have a backup plan if it's an outdoor plan, or make sure that you're changing those times to get places in those breaks between the rain. And make sure you tune into our 6+ live stream as well, where Ethan, Whitney, Faith, everybody will have you covered for tomorrow. In terms of where we go from here for tonight, when you wake up tomorrow morning, we're in the lower 60s. That alone should tell you that there is something going on, because it means there's cloud cover. That means there's humidity. That's why we're not going to be able to cool off. And some of those storms could actually be impacting some of our areas by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, as early as the overnight hours here, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, west of I-35. That's where we could see some storms through the pre-dawn hours. About a 30% chance of seeing anything west of I-35 before the sun comes up. And then as we get towards mid-morning, late morning, we start to see a little bit more of that rain activity starting to pick up along the I-35 corridor. We're also watching that next cold front, and the main bulk of the storms that we're watching start moving in from the west. So again, the further west you live, the earlier you're going to see this activity. Early afternoon, late morning, that's when we're looking at kind of our far western communities. Things start to push towards the I-35 corridor after the noon hour, and you can see isolated activity again at this point, still just expecting showers, the odd rumble of thunder here or there. But then as we get into the evening, we get to that heat of the day, everything starts to organize just a little bit better. By the time we get to 4 or 5 o'clock, you're seeing more numerous storms, more widespread activity. Again, still not expecting a whole lot in the way of severe weather, but you can see some areas here where we can see some pocket change hail, maybe some gusty winds with some of these storms as the front comes through. And then as everything gets into the Brazos Valley, the I-45 corridor, that is going to be your best bet for severe weather. Unfortunately, if you live in College Station, Hearn, Cameron, those areas, yes, we are looking for some of these strongest storms of the day to take place in that area. And again, this is where, again, hail becomes a little bit more likely, those gusty winds become a little bit more likely, and the possibility for a spin-up tornado does enter the picture as storms get into that Brazos Valley I-45 region. Everything's out of here by the time we get to 7 or 8 o'clock if you live in the I-35 corridor, and if you live in the Brazos Valley, we're talking 8 or 9 o'clock. So by the time we get to the evening, late night hours, things change for us. Northwest winds move in, might be a little bit of wraparound moisture here, but there's not going to be a whole lot to be concerned with there, and then things start to pick up for us. With the cloud cover, with the rain, lower 70s tomorrow. That is one thing I want to keep in mind here, is it's not going to be terribly warm tomorrow, so the severe threat does stay a little bit lower. Marginal risk, that's a level 1 out of 5 for most of us, and again, as I've been saying throughout the forecast, that slight risk, that higher threat for severe weather, that's going to be in the Brazos Valley, the I-45 corridor. So that's what we're looking at in terms of severe weather. In terms of rainfall, how about a ½ inch? We need rain in the worst way right now. So I'm not going to argue with a ½ inch to potentially 3/4 of an inch in some of our eastern zones. The rainfall is not the bad news. The bad news, of course, is the fact that we are dealing with the potential for that severe weather. And I did not update this. Obviously, the red day, our weather impact day, should be on Saturday, not on Sunday. Sunday should be beautiful. We're talking lower 70s, plenty of sunshine. We do warm up into next week. 70s, 80s back onto the board by the time we get to the middle of the week. So yeah, we're dealing with very warm weather once again as we get into our President's Day holiday and the rest of the week. That's a look at your forecast. But hey, Ethan is out at the Cadence Bank Center right now getting ready for some rodeo action. Ethan, what's going on out there?
Yeah, Matt, it's awesome out here. I have never experienced something like this out here. If you can see behind me, it's pretty empty out here right now, but we did have some livestock out here a little bit earlier. But Central Texas has a treat for us today. Today is the 38th annual rodeo out here in Bell County. And I have my good sir right here, Mr. T.C. Long, who is actually the announcer. And what can we expect out here for this rodeo?
Well, the good thing about rodeo, it doesn't matter if you're 2 or 92, we've got something for you. We've got all the events of professional rodeo: bareback riding, saddle bronc riding, bull riding, steer wrestling, tie-down roping, team roping, ladies barrel racing. But in Central Texas, the fan favorite always is mutton busting. And we started at 7 with mutton busting, and then after the rodeo starts after the bareback riding, we'll do it again.
Really? Can you tell me a little bit
Oh,
about
you probably don't know what mutton busting is.
Yeah, I have no idea what that
guys
is.
from New York probably don't know what mutton busting is.
No, sir.
So we take a kid about 7 years old, and they
Okay.
get on a sheep and see how far that they can ride. That's where the future superstars of rodeo get their start, is in the mutton busting. And you know, the cool thing about this rodeo is each and every year we get some of the top contestants. They're just leaving Fort Worth. They're headed to San Antonio, and this rodeo always draws top-notch contestants. The Andrews Rodeo Company brings the livestock. You'll get to see animals that have been featured at the National Finals Rodeo, that is the Super Bowl of rodeo, but along with that, contestants. The #1 man in the world in the tie-down roping is out tonight. Bradley Miller, one of the hottest bareback riders going down the road, he's out tonight. It is a who's who of rodeo right here at the Cadence Bank Center.
Wow. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long have you been the announcer for this event?
I've been here probably about 10 years, I believe now. So.
Ooh, okay, you're a trooper.
Yeah.
I can see it. Okay, that's beautiful to hear. I have one more question for you,
Okay.
actually. So, where can we get more information about this event if people want to come out tonight?
Well, you can get your tickets at the Cadence Bank Center, but also the Bell County PRCA Rodeo Facebook page.
Okay.
You can follow along there. Tonight, Military Appreciation Night. I always say it's every night's Military
Yeah.
Appreciation. If it wasn't for the men and women that put on a uniform, we couldn't do what we do. So, mighty proud of that. Tomorrow's Valentine's, so no better place to bring a date.
Yeah,
right here.
you're right. Come on out
That's right.
here. You heard it right here at 6 News. I'm Ethan Pilson, and we will have more coming up at 6 News.
I loved Ethan's face when he learned about the mutton busting. His face was like, they do what?